And that really fits in with our goal to create a community preview. What does that mean? Well, it means optimization, testing out the game on different people's hardware, and trying to identify new problems and make ArmA 3 the smoothest release that we've ever had. You can see the lean to the right there, a little bit to the left. This is one of my favorite stances, going up and down. It's just a tiny little improvement, but when you're in a firefight, you can find some cover behind the wall, pop up and down, and stay out of the line of fire. We can also go prone, and we've got a bit of a last sound animation as well. There we go. Again, our goal is to make things a little bit more fluid, a little bit less clunky. I mean, we'll never be the Call of Duties of this world. We have a real body here. We're connected to the skeleton. So for us, it's about trying to make things as fluid as we can, and also trying to find ways to create appropriate controls so people can really feel like they're in control of their weapon. Nice little custom reload animations here, and really, we're going for quality over quantity here. Although we've got the classic enormous range of ArmA 3, we've got nice weapons, great sounds, great animations, all working together to make, hopefully, show the muzzle flash. We can see Ivan's turned on the flashlight there, which helps illuminate the environment. And we've also plugged in new muzzle flashes, which really light up the night scene. Wonderful timing. For the player, this isn't just a nice fancy visual effect. If we're fighting against the AI and he has no muzzle suppressor on, we're going to be able to see him firing from a distance. Equally, if he has a muzzle suppressor, a flash suppressor on rather, sorry, it's going to be a little bit more laser pointer, an IR pointer rather, sorry. And here we can mark targets, and when we get up to our friendly patrol, they'll switch on their lasers when they see some enemies and help us find where to shoot. The customizable gear interface in itself is a big feature. It relates to our fatigue system in gameplay. It means we're going to be able to sprint for a shorter amount of time, but our accuracy is going to be a little less, or our recovery to become accurate is going to be a little longer. So again, there's lots of things at play, and the lighting on its own makes it feel like a completely new game, aside from the features. Even putting stances to good use there. And we'll have some enemies at 11 o'clock, I think. So I talk about the iterative development of the AI. It's not about making one huge revolutionary step, rather it's about saying, what are the problems at the moment, how can we try and help fix them? A good example is the PMC DLC released last year. It was a couple of missions based in Zargabad. Now that's a big urban terrain, and we were finding the AI were moving through really excruciatingly slowly. So we didn't just accept that, we said, okay, what's going on here? We got Under Spaniel on the case, and he worked out that actually the AI were evaluating almost every object in the scene, trying to find the right place for cover. They were trying to do too much, and it was slowing them down. So what they do now is it's a little more simplified. They'll find the correct cover without trying to find every single small wall to take cover behind. If I'm taking cover behind a wall equally, they'll throw a grenade. Another common complaint people might have is the control systems. Now, obviously, we're adding new features here, new linear mechanics, so we need to evaluate ways of fitting these into the control scheme without overwhelming the player. Again, part of that will be the community alpha, making sure that people are able to use the controls or enjoy using them. And another part of that is our work internally. A veteran developer, Karol Maritzi, he's created this basically snooping on other developers with key logging. So we track how many key presses, the combinations of pressing Control and modifiers like Alt, and we try and heat map where your hands are, where the best place to put keys will be, and this all fits into trying to make it a more streamlined experience. Now, we don't want to be afraid of the word streamlined. Like, we know that it means when console developers say it, it means press A to win, go to the next piece of cover. For us, it means how do we take the edges off our game? How do we make it more, and again, accessible? That word that people are afraid of. Well, I think the community said actually, we don't need to talk about accessibility, just usability. Like, how can we make the game more usable, more obvious for the player? How can we teach them to play the game? Well, part of that is also our playable content. The start of our campaign was very much going to be focused upon getting the player used to handling a rifle. You're just a simple infantryman led by a commanding officer. Go and take out the mortar site, go and take out the town, simple stuff. Cool. So, taking one final tour back around, we'll be able to go and see maybe some of the different weapons. Again, once more our romantic sunset in the distance. Again, we talk about ArmA in terms of its freedom, lots of different weapons, vehicles, helicopters, scuba divers, but this time there's a real focus on the quality of the objects. Each weapon has a lot of work involved with its sounds, animations, configuration. Perhaps it's worth just quickly showing the different kind of things we can do with that. We can take off our sight if we want. If we had a laser or flashlight, we can attach it here as well. Down here we've got our capacity, and this relates to fatigue. The more we encumber ourselves with gear and equipment, the more fatigue we have, and the less accurate we'll be able to be when we're running around, the less distance we'll be able to run too. Cool. Well, that's something of a whirlwind tour of our game at the moment. We'll have a lot more information about this after E3 as well. Keep an eye on our website, arma3.com, and of course our regular social channels, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Okay, thank you very much, guys. We can lean to the left and right now. We go into cover, we can lean to the left, we can duck down, we can pop up a little bit. And this is all designed to give the player a little bit more control. We're not a cover shooter, you can't snap at the cover here, but you do have a few more options in terms of protecting yourself on the battlefield and taking down your targets. This kind of hands-on gameplay is a little different from what we've shown before. Last year we was showcasing more of the features in a static way. Now we're really looking forward to get people hands-on with the content. Well, why are we doing that? Well, it all fits into our philosophy of getting people hands-on, getting some feedback, and the community alpha at the end of this year is the culmination of that goal. Simple content like this helps us test our animations, test our weapon handling, and hopefully it'll provide players with some simple, repeatable challenges that they can get on a leaderboard with. Or what kind of experience does you want to have? Night vision goggles are improved with the enhancements to HDR, and a few little touches like the NVGs being on the helmet or in front of your eyes. Lights are another cool addition to the weapons, and along with the muzzle flashes, I can point out targets to my buddies, but if the enemy have NVGs on as well, they're going to be able to see that too. So taking the scope off now, we can go in iron sights, and you can see how you can customize your weapon and fight how you want to. Again, those are the muzzle flashes that we're talking about, and again, it's an improvement to the graphics. It looks good, but it's also something that you can think about in terms of the battlefield itself. If I can see an enemy, he doesn't have a muzzle suppressor on his weapon, then it's going to be a lot easier to target him. The same is true for me too. Again, switching the optics back on now. So the interface here is prototype, but what we really want to try and express is the systems underlying it, what you can do to your weapon, how these things will affect you on the battlefield. Chem Lights, obviously one of Ivan and I's favorite new innovations. Add a little bit of color to the night. And we can walk around, maybe we can take a look at the tactical pace, which we've alluded to before, a little faster than walking, a little slower than running, and really improving combat in these sort of tight situations. A lot of things to tweak. We want to get some feedback. How do these things impact upon the clans? How does it work in multiplayer? Is it satisfying everyone? When we roll this out with the community, Ivan will take some cover, dive out, put a few shots down range. And also, although sometimes it can be, I know some guys are really happy to have DayZ and a lot of the coverage that we get from it. Others are not quite so sure about this non-serious game mode. The way I like to see it is all of the improvements being made to support the stability of the multiplayer framework, the epic persistent worlds and the potential that has. If that finds its way into ArmA 3, that benefits everyone. One of the founders of Bohemia Interactive, Andre Spaniel, he hasn't been working so much on ArmA 3. He's doing his own research projects, trying to improve things like mod loading. But DayZ has actually inspired him to get back into the engine, go down deep into the code, and find ways to make improvements that really benefit everyone. And it's great to see the whole team having something to be excited about, and a lot of new guys coming in and seeing what ArmA's all about. Mr. Bukta, I can't believe it. Okay,